Under the Bridge, the podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Under the Bridge, the podcast. Thank you for joining us for another episode. My name is Nelson Latif. Our guest today is an MMA fighter, Nick the Fury Felber. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming through, man.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Really appreciate your time. How do you get involved with MMA? Do you start off being a boxer, kickboxing? Is it MMA from get-go?
I played different sports growing up, played football and all that stuff. Tried lots of different things. But, my senior year of high school, I signed up at my first MMA gym in Calgary. And once I started, I just fell absolutely in love with it. It was my passion, so
it's been MMA from
Yeah, the last 10 years have been completely invested into everything MMA. So
cool, great stuff. I believe you also have a background in the military.
Yeah. I served with the Canadian Forces. I was infantry soldier in 3 RCR and then also 3 PPCLI. So
yes, sir. I want to talk to you about CMC MMA. Right, that's your gym.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I moved down to Lethbridge back in mid-February, specifically for this gym. Lee Main, the head coach there, he's an absolute legend.
Yes, sir. Shout out Lee Main. Yeah.
Yeah, in the MMA world, man, he's an OG, and his son Jordan was in the UFC, and they've produced UFC fighters. Overall, though, just the community itself down here at that gym attracted me a lot. It's full of good people. I recognize that, and once I moved here and I actually started with them, I have never been happier.
Yes,
lived up to that expectation.
Yeah, when you said you moved there from Calgary, I'm guessing?
No, so I was in Edmonton for the last 5 years. So I'd originally gotten posted in 2018 to the base in Edmonton. And then I started training with Shea Bears MMA up there for a while. And that's kind of where I was based for the last 5 years. And then, transitioned down here.
Yeah, I want you to tell me a little bit about Lee Main. Who is this guy?
Man, he is. Whenever people talk about Lee Main, you'll always hear the word legend because he is the legend. He's the fucking Terminator, man.
Yes, sir. I like that.
Yeah, he's the Terminator.
I'll be back.
Yeah, man, literally. His reputation is very well known, especially in Canada, but just throughout the MMA world. And, he's 56 years old. I'm pretty sure he's 56.
He looks strong.
I'm pretty sure he's 56. He looks young, man, and he's still fighting. He fought, I think it was last year, knocked the guy out. And
wow.
He's a gangster, man. He's amazing. But, he had a hip replacement a few months back, and he was walking out of there
just like
that after the surgery, flew home, and then he's in the gym the next day, coaching and walking around, and I'm just standing there
this monster
man.
At the Rumble in the Cage, I noticed all the CMC MMA fighters, their jiu-jitsu is nuts.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys focus on in that gym?
Yeah, man. Down the Roy Harris tree, there's I think 10 or 12 black belts just that CMC has produced, and they're all savages. And anytime you're on the mat, there's consistent black belts, brown belts, purple belts. It's a very high level jiu-jitsu gym. Yeah, phenomenal talent.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Great stuff. Your story is inspirational, right? And I was telling Damien the other day, we're going to call this the inspirational fighter.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing that I noticed is that people seem to gravitate towards you. It's like you have this star power, right? And I just wanted to know how going through what you went through, being diagnosed with cancer and stuff like that. Just about 5-6 months ago, you barely could walk, right?
Yeah.
And being in this position now where you are fighting fight to back, how does that make you feel? When how did you get past that?
It comes down to just mentality, honestly. Last year when I was going through the actual cancer process, I altogether within a year I had 4 surgeries. My third operation, I was cut open on the table for 10 hours. Jeez. And I was awake for it too, right? So that was one of the longest days of my life. And I remember I was sitting there, right, and they do local anesthesia on the area where they're cutting. But I will never forget that day. And I had an artery go right at the end of the operation. It's funny, right? Like, you're cut open, but they were like, yeah, you can stand up, you can move around. And I stood up, and I moved for like a couple seconds, and then all of a sudden I look down, and there's just blood just pouring down my leg, and I'm like, oh shit, that doesn't look good. And I hit the emergency button, and I fell on the bed, and the nurse came in, and she just looked at me. She's like, you're not allowed to panic till I panic. And I'm like, man, you look like you're panicking. So yeah, man, it was a long year, and the anxiety and the stress behind all of it is something you cannot just explain to someone unless you've lived it.
Yes,
it is,
sir.
You when you're going through the process, you hear stories and you look at stories of people that are in similar situations, and they go for what I went for, and it's nothing too bad, and then all of a sudden they go back for their next appointment and the cancer's everywhere. So it's just that it's that constant fear that you just don't know what's going to happen. And when I was going through that, I just always told myself, because all I wanted to do was fight.
Yeah.
The year before I was on a roll, and then cancer just came out of nowhere and absolutely kiboshed it. And so for me, I was just trying to get back. And every time I had a surgery, I was back in the gym hours after, days after, always training. Yeah, man, I didn't stop.
Would you say that's one thing that kept you going? The fighting, just getting back in the gym?
It was the only thing that kept me going. I sincerely, the community and the love of the sport, and just my training partners, and the people that actually showed up and stood behind me and supported me, that was every day, just going to the gym. That was where I found my happiness. Yeah. Right on the mats, hitting the bag, hitting mitts, sparring, just doing everything like it was a normal day for me. And for me, that's my normal, right? Is training. So
yeah, you're a real fighter through and through, I must say. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, man. Let's talk about Rumble in the Cage.
Yeah.
Right. Rumble in the Cage 65. And for myself, really, big shout out to everyone involved in that production. That was really top class, great production, great night, fantastic fight all around. I had a great time. Myself and my buddy Damien, we had a great time. I want to ask you, what's your favorite fight of the night besides your fight?
I would definitely say Majed's fight,
Okay.
the main event. I didn't get to see his fight live, but I watched it the next day or a couple days after when it was actually posted. And, getting to train with him is one thing. And I know what it's like to have him in front of me, and like it's always a chess match, right? Like he's such a killer, man. He's so crafty, right? Like not the biggest guy, but like he's so intelligent when it comes to fighting. Very high level fight IQ, and just just seeing how he handled someone like that was clearly way bigger than him too, because the guy he was fighting missed weight. And you could see it. You could see the size difference, and Majed handled him like a champion. He dominated him. So
Yeah, you said the guy that you fought missed weight, right?
Yeah.
But they would go ahead with the same.
Yeah.
Was that the same thing that happened with your fight? Because I believe you switched fighters as well. The guy you were supposed to fight.
No, so the guy I was supposed to fight, he just disappeared.
What?
Yeah.
When
so,
MIA?
Yeah. So the guy I was originally supposed to fight, he just stopped messaging my coach. He stopped messaging just the promotion in general, and just fell off the map. He didn't even say why. There was no excuse. Typically if a fighter is going to drop out of a fight, they'll typically, say like, oh, I have this injury, or I have this going on, or they'll, say something, and granted, like, sometimes guys do get injured, and it's part of the sport, and you have to understand that and be okay with that. But there was no communication. So we just
How did that play out for you though, mentally, like preparing for this guy and having the guy that came down from Mexico, I believe?
Yeah.
Was that the switch? Do you started like preparing for this new fighter a week before, 3 days before, 2 days before?
It was
like
2 weeks before.
That must be crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, I think it was like 2.5 weeks notice or something like that.
And
difference.
This guy that you fought, I want us to dive into your fight, a little bit. I knew he was in camp already. He was in great shape. I think he was preparing for another fight.
Yeah.
So when he got the call to fight you, it's not like a big deal for him, I must say. But you had disadvantage now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your mental state going into that fight?
I knew that going into the fight, these guys from Mexico, they fight every other weekend.
Yes,
they have a lot of unsanctioned stuff. I tried to do my own like research on him and see what I could find, and it's funny, right? Like you can find stuff from like 2014, 2015, and so forth. So he's got a lot of experience
in the amateurs.
Amateur, whatever you want to call it, right down there. Their amateur fights are a bit like, they look a little more like pro fights.
Yeah,
to me,
and they usually have like 100, 200 fights behind them already.
They'll fight every weekend if they can. They're like those Thai guys, man. They're crazy. But I knew he was a veteran of this sport, and for me, the biggest thing was, I was 2 weeks out. I had done all this work. I couldn't even walk up my stairs, to go to sleep 5 months before this fight.
Yes, sir.
And, I did all this work to get back to where I was. I just told myself, you know what, I'm going to go in there and like show this guy what's up. And for me, I just wanted to get back in there. I had earned that right. I'd proven to myself that I could do it. I proved to everyone around me I could do it, to my coaches, to everybody. And, not many guys are coming back from, getting a significant surgery like what I went through just at the end of December, and making a full fight camp and come back within a 5-month period.
That's not many guys. That's fact. Not many guys. I have a theory how that fight played out. I personally, in my opinion, I feel like the referee was still in amateur fight mode.
Yeah.
It was quite unfortunate that your fight was the first professional fight after the amateur fight, right? Yeah. Because that stoppage, that's way too early for me. Yeah. And I know you're a humble guy, you're a great sportsmanship. You guys, you cut it up and, and I was like, but we were still upset. Yeah, man. Everybody in the crowd was upset. Yeah. We had some girls we were sitting next to, some guys that we met with. Everyone was like, what?
What's going on? Yeah, man.
What's your opinion? Your honest opinion, bro? That was way too early for me.
Yeah, no, he caught me. I I think myself and everyone else, when we were looking at this guy, we're going like, I don't think he's going to throw too much for head kicks. And, first thing he does when we engage, he comes out there and he throws a head kick at me, and I check it and I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. We're throwing head kicks today. And it's funny because like his game plan was my game plan. As soon as we engage, I was going to throw that head kick, and then he did it first. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. Here we go. And then, we clinched up, and I felt, I was stronger than him. My grappling felt on point, and then I landed that knee to the head, the elbow. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, I was like, this is my cage.
Yes, sir.
And, when he was backing out of the corner there, he caught me with that hook, and my head dropped a bit, and then you can see I'm about to engage, and he just threw that snap kick up, man, and he just caught me. And yeah, my lights definitely went out for like a millisecond. Like, I flashed, but I felt I was falling. I caught myself, my hands went down. I immediately came up to protect myself, and it sucks because he was hitting the top of my head. I could feel him hitting me, but I could also feel like as soon as I hit the ground, I knew I was getting up.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, even if he was going to finish me on the ground, you let me go out on my shield, especially as a professional. I'm going in there knowing that this is the circumstance. I want to eat 10 or 15 of his hard shots to my chin, and I want to be out cold. So I can look back at that video and go, you know what? He won that fight.
Yeah.
But when I sit there and I go like, I could have grabbed his leg, or I could have climbed up and I could have grabbed him and wrestled him, where I'm very strong, it's unfortunate, right? Because it's that what if, and I don't want there to ever be what ifs when I fight, right? And you see it all the time, like even at the highest level, like in UFC and stuff, like things like that happen, right? Guys get caught, the refs jump in too quick. It's not an uncommon thing, but also as a professional fighter, I want to go out on my shield if that's how I'm going to go out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I feel exactly the same way, to be honest. But the good thing is you have being the fighter that you are. Like you said, you just going through it, man. You want to go through everybody, so you have the chance to right the wrongs real quick, and I like that.
Yeah.
Is it September 8th?
Yeah, September 8th.
Yeah, tell us about that, man.
Yeah, I'm fighting on Unified 52 up in Calgary at the BMO Center. So that's 6.5 weeks out.
Who was this guy you fighting?
His name's Caleb Ermine. He's a native guy from Saskatchewan. Tough guy. He's got pretty good jiu-jitsu. He beat one of my old training partners from Edmonton, and my training partner from Edmonton, he's no joke. He's a tough dude. A really hard guy to finish as well. And, they went to decision, but, I treat everyone I fight like GSP, man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting. I could be fighting, a 12-year-old little boy, or a grown man. I don't care. I'm going to treat my fight camp like I'm going to fight GSP. Like, I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to make sure I worked harder than that guy. Everyone likes to say like, oh, you got this, and like you're gonna slaughter this guy. It's an MMA fight. Anyone who's ever been in an MMA fight knows anything can happen, and I know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
You expect the unexpected, and you go in there and you just have fun.
Have fun. I wanna. It's the way you said it, man. Just wanna go in there and have fun. Look, for casuals myself, I want to know how what goes through your mind. What goes through your mindset going into a fight? Is it does it have to be personal? Is it is it just business as usual?
Yeah, it's just business, man. Almost all the guys I fought, I'm friends with now, so that's pretty cool. There's not many other sports where you're gonna get in a fist fight with someone, and then be texting and messaging each other and like become brothers after it. And yeah, everyone I fought, I've become friends with once the business was done, right? So for me, that's it. Just shows the type of world that, you know, the MMA world is. You know, you see a lot of the time, right? Like especially in the UFC or Bellator, like guys will be chirping each other before the fights and like back and forth. And
yeah. Talk
but
your
then
shit.
like once it's done, it's all respect, and because once you go through it with someone, you know, it's hard not to want to give them that respect. It's not many people can do this, right? So for me, it's never personal. It's always just business. Yeah.
But have you had someone that you fought in the past that just, you know, talk shit all through? Nah.
No, I haven't had anyone really shit talk me, which I'm kind of upset about because like,
You need that, right?
I actually don't really know what I would do if someone started shit talking me. I'd be like,
Probably
all right, man.
Smash it up before the fight.
Yeah, man. I don't even know how I would handle that situation because I've never I've had people trash talk me you know, bouncing at bars and working at bars, and you know that usually doesn't go their way. But but outside of that, man, like yeah, I've never really had an online engagement or seen anyone I'm about to fight talk shit online. So I'd like to keep it that way because, you know, for me it is the respect, and it you know, we're going in there and we're doing something very dangerous and we're taking a huge risk, you know, for very little money. You know, for us this is just honor, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I take away from it.
Yeah, you're fighting for something bigger than that.
Yeah.
Fighting for little money and stuff. I want to ask you, what's the next step? What will be the family that you wanna, you know, is it UFC, Bellator, or PFL?
Man, there's so many good promotions nowadays. PFL's amazing. One Championship is such a great promotion.
Yeah, One Championship. That's the Singapore.
Yeah, they do. They're more of the Asian market, but
Yeah.
you know, they're just as big as UFC in my opinion. And like the fighters they produce are, you know, incredible. You know, they have some of the best strikers in the world coming out of Thailand and those other places, and you know, they treat their fighters well. And one thing I really like that they're doing over there is they're doing hydration testing. So the fighters aren't cutting weight. And you look at how many fighters, even like these UFC guys, like they're passing out after cutting weight. And like, you know, it's the most dangerous part of fighting is the weight cut. And like there's been times like where I've been cutting weight and I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know, you have those oh shit moments and you just don't know what's coming. And because, you know, your blood is so thick, you know, from dropping so much water and so much weight. And, you know, it's scary. Like, you know, guys have had strokes, guys have died. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people understand just how dangerous and like how much we're risking every time we do it. Right. And so if I could get into any promotion, it'd probably be One Championship, just for that, just to fight it more of a natural way.
Hydration club, is that what you call it?
Hydration testing. Yeah. So it'd be nicer to just fight, you know, at a more natural weight.
What's your natural weight and how many weight do you have to cut for?
I'm walking around like 180, 185, and I fight at 155. So if I was fighting for like One Championship, I'd ideally try to be like a 170er, so like a welterweight. But yeah, it's, you know, unfortunately you got to cut a little bit of weight because a lot of these guys here in North America, you know, most of these guys are cutting 15, 20 pounds a fight. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, from a fighter's perspective, who's your GOAT? Oh, hold on a second. Do you have a GOAT or do you have a favorite fighter?
Yeah, so I have, as far as GOAT goes, definitely Mighty Mouse Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he is, in my opinion, the most talented MMA fighter ever. Jon Jones is definitely right behind him. Jon Jones' fight IQ is crazy. It's insane. He is just like a natural born hunter, but Mighty Mouse is like, in my definition, more of like a true martial artist, and like how he thinks and how he moves and everything. Like, you know, it's a viral video. You know, everyone like looks at, like, you don't even have to understand MMA and you can look at this video and go, holy shit, right? Like it's the craziest move. You know, Mighty Mouse throws like almost like suplexes this guy, and then midair throws on an arm bar and lands on the ground in the arm bar, and you're just like, you watch it slow motion and you're like, how the fuck did he do that? Yeah. like just as someone who trains, like I sit there and I'm just like, I can't even comprehend it, right? So you look at his skill level and he's phenomenal. But if I have to pick a favorite fighter, it's definitely Justin Gaethje.
Yes, sir.
I met Justin in the locker room of my first ever amateur fight in Calgary for Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
He was cornering T-Smash Laurent Nelson, and I lost my fight, and I walked into the locker room and Justin looked at me and just was like, don't worry, kid, I lost my first one. And then I started knocking everybody out, and I was like, I remember that. And I didn't even really know who he was at the time. I knew he was pro, and
was he fighting in UFC already at the time?
I don't know if he was in the UFC yet, but like he was right there, because I remember it was like a few months or not even after that I saw him in the UFC, and I made the connection, and I'm like, no shit.
That's the guy.
Shit. That's
Why
the
didn't
guy.
I get a picture?
Yeah, man, I should have got a picture. And so yeah, and then after meeting him, I really came to admire him. But you know, he is by definition a fighter. He is one of the hardest hitting lightweights in the UFC.
Yep.
And every time he is fighting, it is constant car crashes. And, you know, he throws his leg kicks very wild and takes a lot of risk. Because, like, I don't know if you've ever kicked a knee before, but, like, when it's bone on bone and you kick someone's knee, it hurts like a motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, I have built my shins up for a long time. And, you know, if you've watched any of my fights, I love leg kicks. I love kicking legs out from under guys. Like, I love taking those legs home with me. And a lot of like my style, I've learned and built off of Justin's style, just that bully mentality, hard leg kicks and just mean hooks, mean overhands, and just constant car crashes. Because when I think about, you know, I look at, you know, Mighty Mouse or these other guys, they're very technical and very precise fighters. But then I look at guys like Justin and his fan base, and I look at like the people that watch MMA, and like when I think about what people want to watch, I think about like Justin.
Yeah.
By definition, people want to see just like that guy that marches forward, hits hard, and is not scared to, like, you know, take those back. And it's just car crash after car crash after car crash. And if you're gonna do this sport, you might as well make it like as entertaining as possible. Yeah. And that's how I see myself. That's what, you know, when I look back, you know, 10 fights from now or however many fights from now, I want to look back on every fight and be like, fuck yeah,
I went all out.
All out. That's it, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible to see that. I know you had so many people that help you out here in Lethbridge, during your fight camp.
Yeah. And
training camp. You want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, man. I had multiple sponsors. Apollo Strength, Sarah Duban. She's an acupuncturist here in town. She is. I've been getting acupuncture for 10 years, and she's phenomenal at what she does. And she helped me so much. And then she let their shop let me use their sauna for cutting weight and other things. Apollo Strength, High Q Foods did my meals for me. Alan over there is an amazing chef. I had my sponsor Death Defied and Deadly Threads. He's a veteran-owned company, clothing line. He's been with me since the start. So it's pretty cool to have him on board. And Clinch Fight Shop up in Edmonton.
Yes, sir. I know you're always in the gym. Your social life, I don't even know if you have one.
No.
But when you are not working so hard in the gym, how do you enjoy some quality time here in Lethbridge?
Here in Lethbridge, I just got a puppy, so
Yeah.
Her and I.
What kind of puppy?
A golden retriever.
Okay.
Yeah, so her and I are always down by the river, man. She loves the water, so anytime.
What's the name?
Luna.
Leona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. So I've wanted a dog for my entire life and never had the opportunity. And when I moved down here, I was like, I'm planting my roots here. So I was like, I think the way I'm gonna establish that is I'm gonna get a puppy. So ended up getting her.
Yes, sir. Before I let you go, man, I just want you to tell us a little bit more about the September 8th fight. What can people expect? And how can people come out and support you and buy tickets and stuff like that? Because I'd like to come myself.
Yeah, absolutely. You can either reach out to me directly on my Instagram account. It's The Real Nick Fury. Or you can just go on Unified site. There's a promo code. It's just my last name, Felber 10, for buying the tickets and seats or tables, whatever you need. But yeah, as far as that goes, it's pretty straightforward. For as far as getting tickets, and the event is at BMO Center, so it's gonna be a sweet show, man.
Isn't that where they had the what you call it, the Calgary Stampede?
Yeah, the BMO Center hosts like a lot of events.
So it's like a posh event.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a cool event. It's Unified MMA. They put on some pretty epic shows, man. They're, as far as quality goes for actual event, and the cage is amazing, and the fights are going to be on UFC Fight Pass, and
wow,
it's an epic event, so it's definitely worth coming to check out.
Yes, thank you so much, Nick. Before I let you go, man, do you have any sign out message of hope, inspiration for someone that's been through what you've gone through? Because I truly consider you an inspiration, and I feel like your story needs to be told, and just to give people hope and not give up.
Yeah, man, absolutely. When I think about explaining this to people, I don't sugarcoat it. The entire process is very dark itself, right? Just the idea of having an illness that can kill you, in the blink of an eye, or spread like in the blink of an eye, and just all these things are very daunting on the mind. But you're gonna have family not show up. You're gonna have friends not show up. I unfortunately felt that. And that's probably the worst part of the entire thing. But the amount of people that showed up for me that I didn't know or that I didn't expect, it blew my mind. The amount of support that I got, especially just from the fight community and from, like people I hardly knew online, and everything, it was really incredible. People obviously understand, like, it's not an easy situation, but it gets better.
Yes,
and no matter what, every day I just had the same mentality. It was just get to the next day, and just keep fighting. no matter what, like no matter what happens or no matter what the doctor says, just do what you love. And every day I was doing what I loved. I was in the gym, I was training, I was surrounding myself with the people I like and the people I love. And that for me was the biggest thing. So after everything I went through, you know, that's how I view it now. I don't want to be surrounded by anyone that I don't, you know, feel like they fit in my corner.
No new friends. Yeah,
man. It's, you know, I have very few friends now, but the friends I have are so solid, man. And they are always there for me. And the relationships we have are so strong. And, you know, when I talk about, you know, friends and, you know, these other parts of, you know, relationships in life, you know, it's hard to manage, you know, 10 friends, you know, especially if you have a relationship and, you know, your family and everything else. You should only be investing your time into like 3 solid core people, because then you're going to get everything you need back from them. It's going to be a very mutually beneficial relationship. And just throughout the cancer process, I had a few friends like that. And, you know, one of them actually lives here. And he was a huge part of why I ended up actually moving here. But those people, those core people, they are what's going to get you through it. And they're going to be there. And like, that's for me, that's everything. And yeah, man, no matter what, just don't quit. When I was in the Army, when I was in battle school is absolute fucking hell, right? It's designed to break the strongest men. Your job description is close with and destroy the enemy. So they're trying to see who's the boys, right? They're trying to see who's gonna fucking have your back when grenades and, you know, rocket launchers are shooting over your head, and when the chaos starts, you know, who's gonna back you. And you know, you wake up at 5 a.m. and it's go time every day. It is just right from the get-go, chaos, right? You're always in chaos. And my mentality and all the other guys' mentalities, and, you know, even if they didn't think about it, this is how I was thinking about it. It was just get to the next meal, right? Like, and that's how we view it, right? Get to the next meal. No matter what's happening in the moment, just think about like, okay, lunch is coming and I'm going to go eat lunch, and then it's on to the next thing. And eventually the days just start rolling together, right? And, you know, all of a sudden you're 3 months in, and then you're like, oh shit,
just like
I only have like 2 weeks left, right? And like, the days just kind of blow away. But I definitely took that mentality, having that mentality and having, you know, gone through something so mentally challenging, it made last year, I wouldn't say a lot easier for me. I will never sit there and say like it was not the hardest thing I've ever gone through, because that'd be an absolute lie. It was the most challenging thing I have ever gone through mentally, not just on me, but on my family, on everyone in my life. And, you know, no matter what, I just had that mentality, just don't fucking quit.
Yes, sir.
And you don't have to go through fucking cancer. You don't have to, you know, have some sort of life-threatening illness to truly understand that concept. Does it fucking help? Absolutely. I have a very much different outlook on life now, and, you know, I see the world very differently, and I see it differently from most people, and just having conversations with people, I understand that. But no matter what, if day in and day out you practice that mentality of do what you love and never fucking quit, I can't see how, you know, you won't make it through something. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, no matter what.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Do what you love and don't quit. Nick, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And we'll definitely have you back here sometime soon.
Absolutely,
and
man.
Good luck and all the best for your next fight. We'll be there to support you for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. And massive thanks to every single one of you for tuning in once again. And be on the lookout for our next episode. Peace.